following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Talkin' Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
First down, handoff, Elliott plowing to the goal line. Buried, sacked by Lord. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
Here are Mickey Spagnola, Brian Broaddus, Rob Phillips, and Bill Jones.
And it is a Wednesday here at the Star in Frisco inside the SWBC Mortgage Studios, and it is Redskins week. The Cowboys about to head out to the practice field and the outdoor practice on Wednesday. Bill Jones with Brian Broaddus and Rob Phillips. Mickey Spagnola is on assignment right now.
Yeah.
Should be joining us shortly as we get into a new work week. And Jason Garrett's press conference wrapped up just moments ago. Hope you watched it right here or listened to it here.
Sound like a reasonably healthy team, huh?
Yes, and
yeah,
Tavon Austin, pretty remarkable.
Tavon Austin, though, I didn't know about the concussion syndrome, symptoms. Excuse me.
Didn't pop up until after the game. Apparently, but he got through the game fine, wasn't an issue, and then all of his, it hit him. So no practice for him today.
Yeah.
And Tyrone Crawford, are you worried about that at all? Sorry, Bill.
I think it's more of a preventative thing.
Yeah.
I was kind of expecting they would see with Zach Martin and stuff like that with the full pads and things as well. That maybe that we would have kind of a day for those guys as well. But it looks like that, hey, let's go ahead and practice, kind of get through the thing. Maybe he feels like he needs to practice.
He was listed as limited throughout the week last week.
Absolutely,
in practice, so he'll probably be the same
split some
this
time,
week.
with Suafilo and stuff like that. So yeah.
And Mickey is here. Hello, Mickey. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I heard they had Italian beef sandwiches in the training room, so I went and got one before they ran out.
I said you were on assignment, and so that's where you were.
That was your assignment?
No. I left this laying around, and I had to go get it.
Well, that's your assignment to go pick it up. So
I thought the other excuse was better.
Roster move was made yesterday. Jordan Chun was waived, and then Chris Covington is.
Yeah. No. Hang on that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They waived Chun. They thought they were going to bring Covington in, but Tavon showed up this morning with concussion symptoms. So they may have to make a move with a wide receiver.
So they okay. Because I asked Jason, he said they hadn't officially made a move. I didn't know if that was, it's not official yet, but they haven't really decided what they're going to do.
Right.
Okay.
Because they may have to bring up a wide receiver. That's other reason I was late. I waited a little bit on the walk-off.
There you
go. They did sign Darius Jackson to the practice squad.
Okay.
So they did that before they made the move with Chun, and now so they have an extra running back there. So he's not sure what happens with Chun now.
Okay. And so the thinking yesterday was that Chun would then be signed to the practice squad, but that hasn't happened.
But they had already done Jackson before they made that move because they thought they needed Covington for special teams. But now with Tavon not knowing if he's how long this concussion protocol is going to last, and he hurt himself on a crackback block.
What point in the game?
Once again, why do we have wide receivers blocking?
I'll tell you what, that on the touchdown run of Zeke, though, that Amari Cooper had a nice one. He had a really nice block. So but I understand what you're saying.
I was being facetious.
I know you were. Okay, they can't play with 4 wide receivers then? Is that the problem they're running into?
Well, they're running into that and special teams problems, too, because now – you've got one guy you trust catching punts, right?
They put
Randall Cobb. But he's got a little bit of a rib thing going on.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, well, that would contribute then to the shortage at wide receiver if that limited him in any way.
Mick, wouldn't it be great to have Noah Brown right now?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Make sure he can go in there and block.
For depth? Yeah, blocks? Absolutely.
You got Jalen Guyton.
They are thin. There's no doubt about that right now.
Or you might have to look at the waiver wire if there's a veteran guy. But really, but Noah Brown can't catch punts, and that's one of the worries right now.
Yeah, I'd heard the thing about Covington yesterday because they were thinking about doing this last week. They were thinking about that at the end of the week, that could they put Chun down and then bring Covington up to play special teams?
And the thing that's created the issue
Right.
also is the injuries they have at safety as far as special teams go,
Right.
with Donovan Wilson. And
I think Thompson's going to practice today.
Okay,
is
Darian
my
Thompson.
understanding. So that helps.
What about Donovan Wilson? Because
I don't think it didn't sound
Jason
like
didn't
he
list
was
him, but
ready yet.
Okay. All right.
We saw them on the field, though. They were working with Britt Brown, both
Yeah.
those guys. And the one that's injury happened in training camp was Thompson's, right? And was that a high ankle? I'm sorry, I'm asking questions.
It was an ankle injury. I don't know if it was a high ankle sprain.
Gosh, I mean, it's hard to kind of keep up with some of this sometimes.
So my suggestion is if they're having trouble, especially with guys for coverage, because Chun evidently didn't do a very good job on special teams, kick the ball into the end zone on kickoffs and punt out of bounds.
Yeah.
Well, to Brian's
That'll
point,
solve that problem.
Covington was a core guy for them last year when he was active. Right. And, you've got two starting linebackers that don't play any special teams. Sean Lee, I think, got 5 snaps on Sunday. So, yeah, I mean, it helps in that regard. But now, all of a sudden, wide receiver could be more of a glaring need for you.
Plus, you have 2 backup tight ends that really don't do much on special teams.
Yeah.
And you got a linebacker who is injured right now, and Luke Gifford, and who's still at least a couple of weeks away, probably.
Right.
So,
and if your running backs aren't going to really do much, Pollard can go down and cover, but he was getting ready to play a prominent role, so I don't know how much they wanted to use him there. Yeah. And, I don't know if they're still thinking about Morris or not, but then he can't help you with.
Morris is not going to help him with special teams
either.
So, I mean, he's just if something were to happen at running back that you would go that route. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's that's their job to figure it out, and they will.
And what they have on the practice squad at wide receiver is Ventel Bryant, who they picked up. Was he with Indy? Wasn't he?
Cincinnati.
Yes.
I get Indy and Cincy mixed up all the
close
time.
to each other.
Yeah.
Actually, if you talk to people in special teams, they'll tell you that he did a pretty good job at Cincinnati playing special teams. So if they have to now, the player that seems the most obvious to bring up, maybe it's not obvious because he can play special teams, but they've also got Cedric Wilson.
Yes.
But but Cedric Wilson is, if they feel like though that Bryant is a better special teams player, but he probably doesn't know what's going on, and also though Cedric Wilson could play slot
and he can return punts.
If something happens, if the rib thing is a problem for Cobb. So that's kind of your fill-in for that if they have to go to a guy who can play slot and knows the plays. But talking to people about Bryant, they were saying they were pretty happy with what they were getting out of him, as far as watching him and practice and stuff like that. He's like, hey, this guy's got a little bit of feel for blocking punts and doing some things special teams-wise.
Do you expect Cobb, provided when he's healthy, to be just kind of like the Cole Beasley role in punt returns, like where you basically got to do a fair catch and just kind of the steady guy, and then when there's a chance,
caught one the other day, didn't he?
About the first catch around the 5-10 yard line.
Yeah.
So,
but he's got ability to return.
He does, absolutely does.
Yeah,
sure does. See, that's the thing that amazes me. That it seems like every other team in the National Football League takes advantage of their punt return, but us, we're more about let's catch the ball and scrimmage from the 19-yard line.
Mm-hmm. Would have helped a couple of years ago against the Raps.
Here we go.
Yeah. Well,
she'll talk about Ryan Switzer 2 years later.
But to me, if you're good at it, and you could take advantage of it. If you could take advantage of Tavon Austin or Randall Cobb or somebody that can at least get you in a position where you have to get one less first down or something like that.
I think they tried. They had Austin back there, but the way the guy punted, it ended up being fair.
How about a better job of blocking too?
Well, that's always been a problem.
That has been a problem here.
The hold-up guys don't hold up.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, Cole Beasley was never a guy that was going to take it to the house.
No.
On a punt return. He was there to catch it, basically, and then get what you can, whatever.
And get
These
down.
guys do have, in their past, the ability to break one.
Oh, yeah. Cobb does. The only reason he kind of didn't do it late in his Green Bay career because he's had the injury, had the hamstring last year and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So you never know if Tavon can't go. It might have to be Wilson. At least he can catch punts.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if Cobb, but after Cobb, then who would you send out there in the game?
Jordan Lewis probably.
Ooh.
I'm just saying he works at it.
He's done it.
He's
worked at it.
He's worked at it.
I don't
It's
know
kind of
about
like
the
Joe
trust
Jackson
factor.
playing defensive tackle. He's worked at it. Same thing. It's this position flex that tends to get us in trouble every once in a while.
And then as we look back at what Jason Garrett, some of the questions asked of him, one was we talked at the end of the show yesterday about Taco.
Yeah.
You think this is a week that Taco is up?
I don't know.
Or does it depend on what happens
If
out
Taco's
here?
a healthy scratch this week, then now let's start talking about, okay, they're moving on from him. Oh, and because then you're going to get Robert Quinn coming back.
Right.
If
Next
Taco's
week.
another healthy scratch, what are you saying? Are you just going to make him a healthy scratch every week and let it just kind of keep him here? I don't know. I mean, there's people who's talking about possible trade. It takes a second team to trade. We could all speculate about that.
Part of it is they have an abundance here at the beginning of the season. They've got a lot of defensive linemen, okay? Yeah. And maybe
can they all play? That's going to be the question.
But maybe a strategy on those backup defensive linemen as you approach these first two games while Quinn is suspended is, okay, you want to go ahead and get all of them into a game or on the active roster. And so you pick two the first week because it worked, as Mickey was talking about, with Crawford and Lawrence coming off-season surgeries, that you got Hyder up and you got Joe Jackson, and maybe the game plan all along was, even though they say it's all about competition out here, then Taco would be the second week, whatever. I don't know if
well,
it's a way
see.
to get that would be a way to get everybody involved the first 2 weeks of the season while they're serving out the suspension.
He kind of hinted at that with his last answer to the question about Hill and Taco. He said you picked the 46 guys who can help you the most, meaning the most because a couple of those guys can help you outside and inside, and they were worried about that because of Lawrence and Crawford. So
now this is Tristan Hill
see.
and Taco's week, maybe.
Yeah,
So maybe
and also
knows?
based off of the game. I mean, you guys talked about it. Your thoughts were didn't get enough juice overall in the pass rush from your game review, and so maybe this is an opportunity just based on sheer performance to try to shake it up a little bit. Based on how he practices, too.
If he's in a healthy scratch again this week, they've given up on him. I'll say it. I mean, no, I don't think nobody else will say it because if he showed some promise in the preseason. We watched 30 practice, guys. We saw some preseason games where he actually had some productive games, some productive plays.
And barring an injury, all right, when is he going to be active if it's not this week?
That's what I'm saying.
You got Robert Quinn coming back. When are they,
I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying this is an opportunity based off the way the game went last week. Here's a chance to maybe bring him up, get a little juice going in the pass rush rotation. If they don't do it this week, then it's kind of like, well, okay.
I mean, people are asking me about Randy Gregory. Hear anything? No rush, no pass rush. Randy Gregory. I haven't heard anything about Randy Gregory. You better focus on the people that are here. That's what you better focus on. But I'm going to say it. If he's inactive again this week, healthy, then something is clearly not right with him, with the staff, with him, and him going forward.
Might be a doghouse out there.
Well, it's happened before.
There's no question there's a doghouse.
It's happened before.
No question.
He was sat a week or so in December last year. He had the shoulder, but it was also, hey, we want to see you carry yourself a certain way, practice hard, compete, all that stuff. Because going back to preseason, this past few weeks, I think he was more productive than a couple of the guys that were active last week in the games. Now, Dorrance Armstrong had a good camp, and Joe Jackson had a good camp, but Taco was showing up. Now, he had the ankle at the end of preseason, but he was showing up.
Hyder was better than Jackson.
Hyder had a great camp and preseason.
Right. I can understand Hyder dressing, but okay, Taco is in a situation where Joe Jackson did some nice things. Rob's not wrong.
But everybody in the preseason was going up basically against second-team offensive lines. So,
I mean, they all did some nice things.
Yeah, but okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. And all right, so how surprised would you be if Tristan Hill is not active this week?
Well, see, that's another one of those. And to me, Tristan Hill, when you watched him play, you saw great effort, great determination, great hustle, all those things. Didn't see a lot of productivity. So I can understand why they said, okay, we can use Kerry Hyder as the under tackle, or we could use him as a. But they basically said Joe Jackson is a better under tackle than Tristan Hill is what they. If you want to be honest, because that's who they were going to put inside. They only dressed 3 defensive tackles,
right?
But they ended up playing Crawford They ended up playing Crawford as a defensive tackle in that game.
He started it right in, but
you watched that drive where the Giants went down the field and scored. Crawford was playing as the 3 technique.
So you kind of had 5 defensive tackles throughout the game.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, and look, it's a meritocracy, right? Garrett, they don't seem to care if you're a second-round pick. If you're not beating out the guy in front of you.
I certainly think that with Rod Marinelli. I mean,
sure.
He doesn't look at whether you're a first-round pick, second-round pick. It's what you do out here.
Antoine Woods last year.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the thing about it is you talk about first and second-round picks not playing, but you look at the guys that they brought in that are playing. Woods is a great example of that. Sometimes you get in personnel where you have these first-round picks and they don't play well. But then all of a sudden you hit a guy in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, and next thing you know, they're the getting the lion's share of the work. They're the ones making the plays. Just as long as you're getting the right players on the field.
They just didn't get enough from their starting defensive front.
That's fair. That's very fair to say.
Malik Collins, he had a bunch of snaps and he had an assisted tackle.
Yeah. And a penalty.
Antoine Woods, 1 tackle, 1 assist.
Yeah.
So Covington actually had a better game. I mean, he had 2 tackles.
Yeah.
All right, great. But they didn't get much in the middle. And I'm not sure why. We saw Malik Collins, and he looked like he was ready.
It was one of the better performances we'd seen from a defensive lineman in a long time. If you talked about in my opinion, the top 3 players at training camp, Tyron Smith, Malik Collins, those were names, and Xavier Woods. Those were the names that were being mentioned in my mind.
Gallup.
Exactly. I mean,
Malik was right there. You're absolutely right.
Well, one thing as far as the lack of tackles for those interior defensive linemen is the Giants ran the football, had 15 running plays and 44 pass plays in the game. I mean,
but unfortunately, the 15 running plays
now they went for a lot of
151 yards.
Right. I think the Cowboys were really fortunate in this game. It wasn't closer because you would have got a steady diet of that running back.
Exactly. So the way the game played out, the Giants had to throw the football.
They had to.
Play catch-up.
The score was their defense was so bad it affected how their offense played the game.
Somebody after the game in Garrett's press conference asked him, was he surprised that Saquon Barkley only touched the ball 1 time in the 3rd quarter? And I'm thinking his answer should have been, thank God.
Yeah, because everybody talks about the 59-yarder, and that was a miscommunication pre-snap on gap-wise. But I think besides that, he got 5.5 yards a pop after that. Beyond that,
even if you
run.
take that play out, and
take that
still
play
got
out.
5.5.
And I got to check myself here, but I want to say that the Giants barely had the ball in the 3rd quarter, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Well, to me, it's the score was the problem. Well, score is always a problem in a game, but the score was especially a problem. The Giants had no answer, even when they were moving the ball and scored. What the Cowboys do? They came back and scored too.
Oh, I take it back. It was the 2nd quarter. They had 12 plays in the 2nd quarter, and most of them were at towards the end there too.
There was a point where they showed the sidelines, and it was into the game, and Barkley was out. It was Gallman and he was kind of like complaining, like, okay, what the hell?
Yeah.
You don't want me to play? What? Are we giving up? What do we? It was kind of like he was complaining to the coaching staff, like, okay, let me play, let me do something.
If you want to throw him the ball.
Yeah,
because he can do that too.
Like Mickey said, thank God he wasn't in there, and thank God it wasn't a close game. I'm concerned. I'm concerned about this run defense. I'll go on record and say that. I am concerned. I want to believe that Smith and Van Der Esch and Lee will make every single tackle. I want to believe that. And I want that to happen. But if you look at the last month, and Mickey likes to reflect on last season, I'll reflect with him. He'll tell me 7-1 since they got Amari Cooper. I'll reflect with him. But on the defensive side, December was not a good month. The Colts game wasn't a good game. The Rams game wasn't a good game, and this game could have been ugly for them too. It didn't look like to me that they were filling, getting off blocks, filling gaps. And then this week, what you're going to get a guy that hasn't played, that is and Adrian Peterson, one of the best that's ever played this game.
Yeah,
that's a concern to me in this game. If you do not tackle well and fill gaps and get off blocks, things it will be a different result for you right there.
It's great to have good tackling safeties, but I don't need them to have made 20,
you don't want them to be your leading
21 tackles in the game, 12 and 9.
Yeah.
Woods was the leading tackler in the game with 12.
Yeah.
That means somebody's letting the guy go through space.
All right, let's dive into the Redskins when we come back here on Talking Cowboys.
Your new apartment's big. Such a great deal.
It's okay.
Just okay? What's not too...
It's right above the subway.
Well, I bet you don't even notice it after the...
That's my neighbor, Angus.
A deal that's just okay is not okay. Get a great deal with America's Best Network. Come into an AT&T store and learn how to buy one smartphone and get a second one on us. Based on GWS 1 score, September 2018.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with sideline access and photo ops with current players, alumni, and cheerleaders. That's not all, though. You'll get to talk X's and O's with Senior Director of Player Personnel Will McClay, and of course with yours truly, me, Brian Broaddus. You can trust the official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and with us, you'll travel like a pro. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Work the Cowboys way and channel the winning business tradition of the Dallas Cowboys and the Jones family at Formation. This dynamic workspace provides an elevated work experience on the Star's aspirational campus with exclusive membership options available to meet varying needs. Choose from open workspaces, dedicated desks, and private offices to leverage our home field advantage for your individual business success. Limited memberships are available now, so apply today at formation@thestar.com.
A man's Stetson doesn't just protect him from life's elements. It projects an unstoppable and legendary spirit, just like the men wearing silver and navy on the field every Sunday. Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. They are still the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find Stetson hats in the Pro Shop or at Stetson.com today.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Get the ultimate fan experience for the ultimate Cowboys fan. Join Dallas Cowboys United for only $20 and get an exclusive DCU fan pack and member benefits. Visit DallasCowboys.com/United to become a member today. And you can join us here on Talking Cowboys at 888-855-2297 as we dive into these Washington Redskins. And Brian alluded to it in the last segment as far as what maybe the Redskins' approach will be against the Cowboys. And when you look at Washington on offense, the rookie Terry McLaurin had a terrific first game.
Yeah, sure did.
A rookie out of Ohio State with 4.3 speed, can take the top off of defense. He's a high character guy, and he's quite frankly, in my opinion, I didn't expect him this quickly to be able to do that. But obviously, they need him to do that at wide receiver with what they've got. In fact, they released Josh Doxson, who's now with the Vikings. But Trey Quinn had the seventh round, last pick of the draft last year out of SMU.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah, exactly. Had the second number of snaps as far as the receivers go.
Yeah, both really nice players. Trey Quinn, though, started off his career at LSU and then ended up at SMU. Right. So, but yeah, he's one of those guys, when you talk about slot players, and depending on how things go in the slot this week, I know Mickey, we'll all be kind of watching practice and seeing what's going on, because we'll see how it affects Byron Jones. If Byron Jones becomes the starter, does that mean that Anthony Brown moves into the slot, or do they continue to go with Jordan Lewis in there? So Trey Quinn is going to catch a matchup. We need to kind of figure out where that's going to be there. But this Terry McLaurin, I'll tell you what, though, his ability to get down the field and separate is impressive. The speed, the burst, but he also could catch the ball underneath, though, too, because there's a couple of times where these Eagle corners, once he made those plays down the field, it was like, okay, this guy can run a little bit. And now he's driving guys off the ball and then coming back for the ball. And I thought it was Case Keenum is one of these guys that's not going to do anything to jack up the game. He's going to be very methodical in the way he plays. He's going to drop down 3 quarters and throw the football to you. He's going to throw it underneath to the backs. He doesn't want to take sacks. If he gets hit, he's going to make the throw. So they've got a quarterback that kind of can function in their offense, and they play a lot of 3 wide receivers. So you're going to be in a lot of nickel in this game. And then you also have to watch their running back, Chris Thompson. Mm-hmm. Chris Thompson, to me, if you talk about weapons and talk about that ability to not only when you play light box, they hand the ball to him underneath and he's able to make a run, or if they say, okay, we're going to throw a screen to him. This team, after watching Dallas play some of the struggles they had with the screen game last week against the Giants, get ready for screens. Get ready for the tight end screen. Get ready for the running back screen. They're just going to go a lot of different ways, I think. And I think that Thompson is going to be a big part of that. And then McLaurin, the wide receiver, and then Quinn as well, with a quarterback that's pretty steady the way he moves the team.
And Peterson should have the opportunity. The run game with Geis injured. You mentioned McLaurin, 125 receiving yards in the game, 69-yard touchdown. Yeah. And they almost had him deep again in the third quarter when they fell behind 21-20. He almost gave them the lead right back in the third quarter. I mean, that he's a guy to worry about for sure. Deep, and like you said, he's a complete wide receiver for a rookie.
Them DBs probably looked out there and saw this dude with hair down to his shoulders. We got to worry about him.
Number 17, strange number to have out there at wide receiver. But, I tell you what, though, this offense, the way that the Cowboys, again, they're going to have to find a way to get some pressure. They got Donald Penn playing left tackle. As the game wore on, it felt like he kind of wore down. He's a big, heavy guy, and early in the game, he leans on you, pushes on you. But you got to find a way to get to the corner on him because he gave it some pressure. We all know what Eric Flowers did at the Giants. They tried to move him inside to guard, see if some quickness can give him some problems. Sheriff, the right guard, I think is a really good player, probably underrated. And then Morgan Moses, the right tackle, he kind of comes and goes. But, the Giants, we all talked about on the show, they did a great job. I felt like they've improved. This is a team that's very similar. They got some good pieces on the offensive line, but the Cowboys have got to find a way to get some pressure. They got to find a way to not let Adrian Peterson get running in this football game. They cannot allow 4 and 5, 6, 7 yards a shot running the football. They've got to try and put the Redskins in some bad down and distance situations and function that way.
And that means getting ahead on them too, and don't fall behind.
That's what I'm saying. They were up on the Eagles 17-0, and then things started kind of falling apart for them a little bit. But, they came back. They scored a touchdown at the very, very end to make it a close game so they can onside kick, which they never got. But, I think offensively there's still weapons that you have to worry about. You really do have to worry about. There was no Jordan Reed this week. Last week he was out with a concussion. He always seems like something's wrong with him.
He's got a bad concussion issue.
He's got a bad concussion issue. There's no question about it.
But the other tight end,
Vernon Davis
had a touch.
Can still hurt you too.
Was it a touchdown or a long play?
Touchdown,
touchdown. It was very emotional for him too. His grandfather passed away the previous day. And,
you know what? If I'm the Redskins' first play of the game offense, I'm throwing a screen pass.
Yeah,
I'm going to slow this. Give these guys something else to think about.
I think that's what the Giants wanted to do. I think the Giants were using the screen. The Giants used their tight end in the screen game too. But when this Chris Thompson, I mean, he is a really good screen player. And like I say, you play light box, they're going to run the football with him. You kind of pack everything inside to try and play the run. Well, then they're going to work him out outside, or they're going to let the rush come up the field. They're going to slip him in the out of the backfield and throw him the football. So. The Cowboys are going to have their hands full defensively, having to deal with a lot of different players.
And it looks like they went 3 receivers quite a bit last week against the Eagles.
One of the tops in the league in that when they do that.
So you won't see much Sean Lee on the field.
No, that's a Jay Gruden way he plays football. He's going to play with a lot of wide receivers on this field.
Giants always do that, but Sean 16 snaps on defense last week, and that could just be a continued thing depending on how teams play, if they go multi-receiver, and then how the Cowboys want to play. Do they want to stay in their base, or do they want to go nickel-dime in those situations?
Well, the tight end, the second tight end, Jeremy Sprinkle, had 14 snaps last week.
Yeah,
and that kind of tells you where Lee's going to be on the field, how many times he's going to be on the field probably this week. Yeah. And that was a close game last week. Which they got ahead, by 17-0 to start that game.
Couldn't finish it.
Yeah. All right, let's take another break here, and we come back and we explore the other side of the football for the Redskins when we come back in just a moment.
It can be hard to find the right resource for learning about important financial matters. You search how to build savings, you end up reading about the one weird ingredient from supermarkets that can make you taller. That's why Bank of America built BetterMoneyHabits.com, a safe little corner of the internet for answering your financial questions. Full of simple videos and tips, Better Money Habits can show you how to make the most of your money without resorting to random searches that always seem to lead to unbelievable photos of childhood stars grown up. To learn more, visit BetterMoneyHabits.com.
It's time for tailgating with the OtterBox boys.
The OtterBox that builds those crazy protective phone cases?
Yup, and now they're changing the side dish game with the OtterBox Trooper Soft Cooler. Lightweight, mobile, and leak-proof, Trooper is perfect for blitzing a crowded parking lot with a Frito pie.
Amazing. Hey, you think I could fit my 7-layer salmon salad into the Trooper cooler?
Yup, but please don't.
And that's been Tailgating with the OtterBox boys. Learn more about the Trooper Soft Coolers at OtterBox.com.
While a player could look good on paper, it's when he's out on the field that you really find out what he's made of. That's why the Cowboys rely on more than just stats and scouting reports when building their team. When picking a tractor, it's why you should rely on more than just specs and features. You've got to take it out and put it to the test. The Cowboys did when they named John Deere their official tractor. Experience one for yourself. Visit myjohndeeredealer.com/football.
Dr. Pepper is the one you crave. But how do you explain that craving?
Imagine a surging river of ice-cold Dr. Pepper, roaring with carbonated mists of desire. You're dangling above it, upside down, like a fishing lure in the wind. 23 flavors tickle your nose, but the river is too far away to taste. Dr. Pepper calls to you. You.
Now that is a Dr. Pepper craving. Dr. Pepper, the one you crave.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
And you can get free shipping on that closer razor at Jack Black. If you go to getjackblack.com, you'll get this razor created exclusively for Jack Black, and it'll give you the best shave with that shave cream also. What else do you need? Go to getjackblack.com, free shipping for more than $35.
I really need to try that.
Where's the huge words in the read? Those
ergonomically.
I think after yesterday,
that was awesome.
Yeah.
I got it.
He's letting the game come to him.
Yeah, that was so awesome the way that was played.
Yep.
You like the inset pad too, right? With the grip.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Diamond etched knurling. Have you ever heard of knurling before?
See, Brian, you asked for big words.
Knurling.
Knurling.
Isn't that the center for the? What's his name? Knurling Norwell. What's his name?
Nerlens
Noel. Former Mav.
I thought it was that event in the Olympics.
Yeah. Curling.
Oh, that's curling, not knurling.
Yeah.
It's a dad joke there.
But I could slip that in.
Okay, Mickey during the break brought up DeMarcus Lawrence, and so I would like to talk about DeMarcus Lawrence here because I just think it's ridiculous that this whole thing got legs on social. This is what social media is now.
Death of our society.
I mean,
it's okay.
Now, I enjoy social media, but it's just
we have hardworking people that are employed for that purpose that are on our team.
No, I enjoy social media, but it's not so much social media as just people react to something that is just doesn't matter.
There's a mob mentality that comes out of social media.
All right, number one, in an after-game scenario like that, when DeMarcus Lawrence is walking to his car, okay, after the game, there are literally hundreds of people outside the stadium there. Number one, if he stops to sign one autograph, there's 50, 75 people there, okay? And so at some point, he's going to be rejecting a kid, okay, on an autograph because he's got to get to his car eventually.
It's also game day.
Exactly.
He's focused on the game.
Was that before the game? I thought it was after the game.
It was after.
It was after?
It was after the game.
Okay,
He's walking
either way,
yeah,
he just played a football game.
Right.
Yeah.
And the best line he had was he was pissed off because he didn't get any tackles on Saquon Barkley. And he saw the jersey. Maybe I'll tackle you.
But, Rob, I'll let you talk about DeMarcus and his personality.
Yeah.
And he's having fun with.
If you've known, we've been around him a pretty good bit, y'all for 5 years, me for 4 years. Like, that's the way he what he said to the kid, that's the way he jokes. It comes off very deadpan. Got the wrong jersey, kid, or whatever he said. That wasn't really meant as a real cut down to the young man.
And he didn't.
Wasn't.
The other part of it is, if you look at the video, he didn't realize the kid was even there until he was already basically passing him by.
Right.
You know, at that point. So
this is why a lot of guys do not sign autographs at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't sign, you can sign 10. If you don't sign one, then you get accused for being a jerk. So
Mickey,
a lot of guys, if they're not at a paid event, they don't sign autographs.
You watched the '59 White Sox, right?
Yes.
Did you go to Comiskey Park?
That was probably the first year I went to a game.
Did you, as a kid, try and get an autograph?
I was scared to be rejected.
No, I got Ted Williams' autograph, and I was the same way.
No way.
You know, I got Ted Williams' autograph. 72, the Rangers opening 1972, Texas Rangers' first season here in Arlington. They had Ted Williams as their manager, and I got Ted Williams' autograph. And I remember as a kid thinking how cool that was. But you know, today an autograph to me is a lot different than it was maybe 40 years ago, because you see these autographs end up being sold. You know, you end up like, you know, and as a kid, I think there's something magical about handing a baseball to Ted Williams or handing to Luis Aparicio for the White Sox and having him sign it. And here you go. You know, there's something
having an interaction.
There's something
with the
about that,
yeah.
and I think in this day and age, and I'm not faulting Lawrence here. I'm just saying, as a former kid, I think we're all kids, but there was something about standing there and handing somebody something, and then they sign it and hand it back to you. You know, I just remember that feeling. Now, again, it's unfortunate that we do live in a day and age where, because there are rejection. There's times where, you know, I'm sorry, I don't have time to sign today. And you understand. You don't film the guy. You just politely say, okay. But you know, maybe next time that guy will sign, or, you know, maybe he will. But I just remember that being as a kid. Now, it's unfortunate for the kid that he had on a Saquon Barkley jersey.
He might have got it.
He might have got an autograph if, you know, but you got to understand, though, what these guys do. I mean, I didn't ask Ted Williams for his autograph wearing an Oakland A's hat. You know, I had on a Texas Rangers hat and all that, so it was really easy for him to say, sure, kid, here you go, and hand it back to me. So I understand what players go through. I do feel like there is a responsibility as a player. I do feel it, because I grew up in an era where players did sign things. You know, you handed them a ball and they signed it for you, and it was such a thrill to get that ball back. You know, it's wow. Oh, look, Bill Milton. You know,
totally agree. But sometimes it's
Dick Allen, whoever signed the ball.
But at the same time,
there's circumstances too for those things.
At the same time, I think for fans, understand that. I mean, DeMarcus might have had someplace he needed to be.
No,
here
there's no question.
Exactly.
And instead of filming him doing that, the kids just say, "Hey, maybe next time."
Right.
Yeah, sure, kid.
And this is what I would suggest.
And handle it a little bit better. That's what I've always when with Bennett when Bennett was going to camp with me, you know, Bennett would always want to get the autograph ball, and the players were so nice about signing the ball. And I'd go up afterwards. I'd say, "Thank you, I appreciate you doing that." And you know, it's easier for players to sign for kids than it is for adults, because adults tend to like take it. We go to these things and we see all these adults with just bags of balls and stuff, and
those are usually dealers.
Those are dealers. And I could see why players get a little bit miffed. Well,
especially like with the Barkley jersey, you're probably skeptical of where's this autograph going. And I get it's a innocent kid. You know, it's just not a big deal. And overall, by the way, he did his annual bowling.
He
thing
did.
Last
He does
night.
a lot of great things for
almost
kids.
90 kids, almost 100 kids with backpacks for school and all that.
I think the kid could have played it. Don't film. It's a situation that your kid could be put in a bad situation by doing that.
I get you.
Yeah. Don't be the parent pushing your son out there for him to potentially get rejected. And be mindful of people, of their privacy and stuff like that. But I think that the kid, he got put in a bad situation, and if the kid he could understand and said, "Hey, maybe next time, it's okay. Maybe next."
And see, that's where I'm at.
And then it would have made Lawrence think
for the parents. For the parents, it's teaching your kids that be very respectful of the player,
right?
And maybe instead of DeMarcus, it's Mr. Lawrence, may I have your autograph,
It works
please?
every time. And you thank him afterwards.
And as a parent, you tell the kid that now he may be busy.
Yeah.
He may not have time to sign it right now.
You prepare them for that.
And you thank him anyway, okay?
Right,
and it's
Yeah.
He may get a Lawrence jersey for Christmas, is what it sounds like. It's a possibility.
That's the thing that will happen now.
No, DeMarcus is a great
guy. He said he would do it.
He's a great guy.
He'll do it.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
There will be a time here, probably it might even happen after practice today, where that kid shows up and he presents him with a DeMarcus Lawrence jersey.
That's the
way
thing.
it
That's
works.
the thing. The parent pushing the kid. That's the thing that got me. I'm
And
like,
videoing
don't do
it,
that. Don't
you
do
know.
that to your kid.
Right.
Don't do that.
I got 2 autographs in my life.
Yep.
One, and it was because it was an autograph event at our little
Babe
league.
Ruth?
Bob Feller.
Okay.
How's Bob Feller? And Pete Ward. Do you ever hear of Pete Ward?
No.
Third baseman for the White Sox.
Yeah.
And I had a chance to get Louis Aparicio.
There you go.
I covered the 50th anniversary of the All-Star game, and they did the old timers, and they handed out those retro cards. And so we're in the locker room, and it was like everybody was going and getting autographs, and I'm going, well, that's not very professional.
Yeah.
And now all these years later, I wish I had done
I don't mean to scoreboard you, but I was at the auto show at Market Hall, and my dad and I, we were walking through, and Bob Lilly walked by, and my dad and I stopped him and asked, Mr. Lilly, may I please have your autograph? And I got an autograph.
There you go. Done deal.
You know what? I bet you can get one next week, too, from him.
All right, that does it for Talking Autographs and Talking White Sox here on Talking Cowboys, and we'll talk at you again tomorrow.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this,